Good day, distinguished listeners and viewers. Welcome to another episode of Voice of the Educators, VOTE, a platform committed to amplifying educational voices, inspiring intellectual growth, and promoting meaningful dialogue. I am your host, Umar and today we are deeply honored to host an exceptional academic, a respected mentor, and a dynamic leader within one of Nigeria's most prestigious institutions. Our guest is Dr. Umar, Sani Bebeji, a distinguished lecturer in the Faculty of Law, Bebeji University, Zaria, and currently the Assistant Dean of the faculty. He is widely admired, not only for his academic excellence, but also for his dedication to students, his engaging teaching style, and his exemplary leadership. Dr. Bebeji, we are highly honored to have you on the Voice of Educators. You're highly welcome.
It's my pleasure.
We're very much glad to have you on this show, sir. And so before we start, we would like to know a little biography about you, and then also the challenges and also achievements in which you faced on your journey.
So thank you very much for having me. Well, I was born in the 80s in Kaduna. I grew up in Tudunwada, Kaduna, and then I had my primary education in Abubakar Gumi College, the actually famous Makarantan Chanchangi, and then from there I proceeded to Nigeria Military School Zaria, where I had my secondary education, and then after that I proceeded to Kaduna Polytechnic, where I obtained my national diploma, and then moved to Ahmadu Bello University, where I got my LLB, and then after that I went to law school, Kano campus, and from there I came back to Ahmadu Bello University for my second degree, my LLM, that's the MSc, and then yes, it was at that moment that I was engaged as a lecturer, with the Department of Commercial Law.
Very well, sir. Your journey has been quite full with lessons and all, but you were able to still achieve and then make it to this stage that you are now, and for the impact that you've made both in and out with the students and other non-students, we hope that it will keep on building the students and also nurture them for what they are to face on the outside. So, Dr. Bebeji, before we discuss law and leadership, we would love to understand the journey behind the man. So, first question I would like to ask you is, what inspired you to study law?
Well, yes. Growing up, even at, when I was in secondary school, I had no intention whatsoever, no admiration for the legal profession. For so many reasons, I found it too off, in fact, most of the lawyers I've seen, I found them to be too disconnected from the society. There's so many reasons, so I wasn't really particularly interested in that. But later in life, an injustice was done to me. And from that moment, I realized that, wow, somebody has to just also one way or the other find a way of becoming a lawyer. So, and I had friends, very good friends who all their lives, even through secondary school, I knew wanted to become lawyers. For instance, the Dean of Law himself, Professor Zali Magashi, was my good friend right from childhood. People like Ahmed Sanusi, people like Saidu Alpha, a lot of my friends we were in secondary school with. So it just dawned on me that, if these guys can do it, why not me? So I decided, let me give it a shot. So I just simply bought JAM form, and then the rest is history.
Very well, social justice. So, looking at your own improvements that you would like to see, so then how can law faculties better prepare students for real life practice, not just the modes they do on campus, and also how do you advise for law faculties to train them both in ABU and other faculties?
Yes, so this is a good question, and I think, like I said, there's a movement, for clinical legal education, ensuring that we don't just see legal education as just, any kind of education, but also bringing clinical, the idea of clinic into it, meaning that lawyers should approach legal problems as doctors approach actually what? Ailments, clinically. So that, because like I said, as one of the things that doctors actually have over lawyers is that whenever you see your doctor, after the consultation, you usually walk out of his office more confident. Even if you had no hope. Yes, your interaction with him may give you hope that yes, maybe by the time I actually take my drugs as prescribed, by the time I also, maybe through counseling, avoid this, take that, I will be confident that yes, things will go. And I want also in the future, our clients should also be working out of our offices confident that their problems are going to go away. And so from that reality, it means that faculties, we are already actually implementing it through clinical legal education. For instance, our law clinic here, even yesterday, our students actually were at the prisons to pay prison visits so that they will interact with inmates, they will interview them, and then they will get to know that beyond theory, these are real problems. There are inmates in the prisons who have been actually detained, remanded in prisons just for offenses that are not even, in fact, they are awaiting trial anyway. So these are some of the problems. So students need to expose the students to these realities early in their training will do a lot of good, and it's doing a lot of good. It will change the mentality. It will make our law students to understand that yes, legal problems are also social problems. These problems are people problems. They are not actually problems that we can treat dispassionately and then look at them as if those with the problems actually are living in a different planet. No, they are actually part of us. So through clinical legal education, and that clinical legal education, the idea of the pedagogy actually focuses on experiential learning. So students are learning by experience. We encourage students to go on internships. We encourage students to also do everything they can to ensure that whatever they learn in class in theory, they also put it in practice. So that at the end of the day, we are not only producing, skilled lawyers, but we are also producing ethical lawyers.
So now let us broaden the discussion beyond the classroom and then look at law and society. So the question I would like to ask here is, what role should young lawyers, what role should they play in the Nigeria's developments as we are now?
Yes. One of the advantages of young, youth is that youth are adventurous. Youth explore. Youth do not know limitations. They have, because experience is not what is pushing the youth. It is the curiosity. So, there are many problems that our young lawyers actually can solve if they focus not just on, what we tell them not to do, but focus on what they think they can do, as lawyers. So it means that we encourage young lawyers to focus on the law as it ought to be, not the law as is. So this means that a young lawyer will see, for instance, where, for instance, an electoral law, actually what a problematic law, those, with experience will tell you it will not work. But we want to see that young lawyer telling himself, no, it worked elsewhere. It can work now. So I want them to be actually very explorative. I want them to be curious, and I want them to ensure that they take up courses that are focused in, improving the society. I want them to also focus on, advocacy, on empowering themselves with skills that actually tend to solve societal problems rather than complicating, the problems. I want them to be able to see that there is a decision of court, and this decision of court, for whatever reason, occasions injustice. And we will stand to ensure that we take up this decision up to Supreme Court in order to ensure that at the end of the day, we highlight this injustice to the society. We also, argue why this is not just for the society, so that the judges, even, at the highest level, can be convinced that yes, that decision is not the right decision for the society. So, young lawyers, as you are coming up, nobody should tell you that you cannot. except the limitations are placed by your, rules of professional conduct or any other rule, in force that limits your, ability to move. But beyond that, young lawyers should focus on helping people, should focus more on pro bono services, and most importantly, money is not everything. When you focus in service, when you focus in servicing the community, I guarantee you there will come a time when the money will not be an issue.
This is truly inspiring, sir. This little journey of yours reflects resilience and purpose. So let us now move into teacher and student relationship. Many students describe you as approachable, inspiring, and impactful. So we would like to know, how do you balance discipline with friendliness? Because we know some students can quite be mischievous. So how do you balance that discipline and friendliness with students?
This is a very interesting question, and I can assure you, I didn't start, this journey with this level of friendliness. In fact, sometimes I just sit down and reflect that, wow, times have passed and I've matured actually. So when I started this journey as a lecturer, I was more strict, but with time, with more interaction with the students, I realized that you just had to find a way of balancing, discipline and friendliness. But importantly, because of my military background, and I believe that's what a lot of people need to understand, that those of us that, were very fortunate in life to attend military school, we knew the importance of discipline, And I know that whatever you do in life is discipline that will actually sustain you, and is discipline that will get you to your destination. We remember, when we joined the military, it used to be throughout your life was controlled, your life was directed, everything you were guided to do everything. So, and we know now that we have relative freedom, we see in everything we do how that actually has helped us, how we are able to actually manage our schedules, how we are able to balance, the exigencies of life and the requirements of, family life and other actually commitments. We know that it is the discipline that is behind it. So this is the reason why sometimes we tend to be very strict on certain issues and we don't compromise certain things. Whatever happens, we insist that students should be disciplined. Students should do the right thing. But at the same time, we also understand that one cap or one approach cannot fit everything. So sometimes you have to be flexible in circumstances that require that flexibility. Yes, so we understand that with time we have come to understand that these students themselves are from different backgrounds, and the way you treat A doesn't necessarily have to be the way you treat B and C. So you have to ensure that sometimes you are flexible. So the carrot of stick approach has now become actually my major drive in, especially in my role as assistant in undergraduate.
So there was a lot of knowledge that you put out there. And owing to the fact that you were once a law student yourself,
yes.
And this is a question that I know many law students would love to hear an answer from you. Though we know we have many students, we have the medical students, the engineering student, but what is that one thing that makes a law student exceptional, that makes him stand out amongst the rest?
Yes, what actually makes a law student stand exceptional is simply the fact that a law student is inspired, a law student is driven by one cause in life, and that cause is justice. That is justice.
Yes, so that's the motivation behind
yes,
law student.
That's what makes a difference between law students and other students. Not just justice, but also excellence, because of the nobility of the profession.
Yes,
law students must exhibit excellence in everything they do. So that's also a driving actually factor.
So there was a lot of knowledge that you put out there. And owing to the fact that you were once a law student yourself,
yes.
And this is a question that I know many law students would love to hear an answer from you. Though we know we have many students, we have the medical students, the engineering student, But what is that one thing that makes a law student exceptional, that makes him stand out amongst the rest?
Yes. What actually makes a law student stand exceptional is simply the fact that a law student is inspired, a law student is driven by one cause in life, and that cause is justice. And that is justice.
Yes, so that's the motivation behind
yes, that's what makes a difference between law students and other students. Not just justice, but also excellence, because of the nobility of the profession.
Yes.
Law students must exhibit excellence in everything they do. So that's also a driving actually factor.
And though we know there are lots of students who want to be lawyers, but there's this level of confidence that which they don't possess. So what can students do to build confidence, especially in the public speaking and mooting also?
You see, this is a very personal question to me, because growing up I wasn't so confident. In fact, at some point in my life I realized that it was one of my challenges. I couldn't actually stand and face crowd. In fact, I remember when I was in Kaduna Polytechnic, when I presented myself to serve as the president of Association of Social Development Students. One of the points that my opponent used to campaign against me was the fact that I was contesting against my opponent, who was a youth leader in the church, had more confidence and had so he used that to campaign against me, that I couldn't actually stand and face a crowd. And then of course it was a criticism that I took actually in good faith, and I took steps since then to remedy it. So I remember there was this instance that my maths teacher, lecturer in Cat Poly, called me out to come and solve a mathematical problem on the board. And when I came out, I picked the chalk. My first thrust onto that board, my hands actually were yes, I was trembling. And you noticed that I was trembling, but because I had an idea, it was logarithm. So I had an idea of what to do. So eventually I got control of myself, and I actually solved the equation. And since then I realized that, well, it doesn't take anything. You just have to reverse this challenge. And since then I made it a point to actively participate in every opportunity. Every opportunity given to me to speak in public, every opportunity given to me, I present myself. So since then, I had done debates. When I came here in 100 level, I remember my first debates outing was actually fatal, because at the end of the day, the judges condemned my approach to the debate and everything. But since then, it had always been, mooting, and then I came out, participated in politics, school politics, and that helped me in no small way. And today we can say the rest is history. Yes, even though we're still challenged in some ways, but we still take every opportunity to improve. Yes.
See, beyond teaching, we can also see that you carry significant leadership responsibilities within the faculty. So moving on now, we'll be asking questions on leadership and administration. So we know you've been in the legal profession, both the educational part and practice part. So we would like to know, what improvements would you like to see in Nigeria's legal education?
Well, even though the movement has been on for over a decade, the improvement I want to see in legal education is more focused on social justice. Meaning that the way and manner we actually train lawyers, train future lawyers, we must be able to train them not to become technical lawyers, not to become robots whose idea of justice is simply what is written in the law or a previous decision of the courts. Rather, the idea of justice should be rooted in what? Social justice. What should we do as lawyers to ensure that there is equilibrium in the society? What should we do to ensure that this is justice? Not the idea of justice as contained in our law books, but the idea of justice as products of the society, as people who are part of the society, who see problem and wanting to solve the problem. So my idea is that the law should be functional, should deal with societal issues. Because the more we amend our laws, the more we push, for laws, the more we even go to court and get them adjudicate these, cases, the more we see problems in the society. So this means there is a problem. Even though, the legal system itself was superimposed on us by the colonial masters, we had our system that worked for us, that maintained equilibrium in the society. But at the end of the day, it was interrupted by a system that was alien to us. And we are still actually building, the profession around that alien system, and that alien system is not working. So what do? We should come back and embrace the fact that our society is peculiar, is unique, and it's rooted in certain traditional realities that our laws must also focus on. So my idea of what should be changed in the legal profession is that the legal profession should focus more on social justice.
Thank you very much, sir, for that. So just what little advice would you give non-law students who are also out there in the society?
Well, like I always say, you see, I have a different view when it comes to this posture of lawyers thinking they are better than everybody in the society. I do not think so. I don't believe so. We may advance some of these banters, just for the sake of humor. But the truth of the matter is, everybody in the society has a role to play, whether the person studied law or did not study law. And in so many instances, on so many occasions, I have seen how problems, even from my perspective as a lawyer, cannot be solved legally, but will be solved actually in collaboration with others who are not lawyers. So it doesn't matter whether you have studied law or you have not studied law. The point is that whatever you are doing, wherever you find yourself, no matter the nature of the course you are running, do it well. No matter where you find yourself, do whatever you are doing well. And I can assure you, you will excel.
I'm very much sure they would appreciate this little piece of advice. But before we conclude, sir, we would like to have a much lighter movement with you.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you, were you always serious as a student?
I was never born a serious person. Yes, I was never a serious person. In fact, even now, sometimes when I have serious matters, you may see me actually doing things that, and I think that has kept me going. I don't take things seriously. My nature is that I commit myself, I commit my person and everything to goals I set. But at the end of the day, if I don't achieve those goals, I know it's not because I did not actually commit to those goals. It's because, well, as a Muslim, it's because that is what God has destined. And I'll move on. So I have never been, this serious. Yes.
Okay. If not law, then what profession would you have chosen?
Interestingly, industrial design.
But sir, industrial design and law, I think they are two roads apart.
Yes. When I was in secondary school, I remember our finance teacher, because yes, I was, an active finance student, and I was good in drawing, in penmanship generally. So during excursion, we went to, the industrial, design department. We paid an excursion visit, and I think that was what actually attracted me to industrial design. And in any case, if I had not studied law, I know I would have done something creative, engineering, and because I have always, growing up, I had always been creative. I could always look at things.
From the stories
yes, I've always been, but then law has tied me down now. My creativity has actually been limited by, the law.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, what is that one thing that most of your students don't know about you?
My problem is that I have this relationship with students where we freely interact. Yeah, for the junior ones, they may not understand. Because for those coming in 100 level, I'm always strict.
Yes,
But by the time, because I always tell them, my friendship is earned. So if you come in 100 level, you have to be able to, and then the way I actually relate with 500 level students, even the younger ones actually envy that. Because at the end of the day, I believe we are here to do the right thing, train them, and then when they leave, they become, well, lawyers like us. So we are not different from them. We are only privileged to be here to actually, help them. Inspire them and then guide them, through the legal profession.
Okay,
but beyond that, I don't think there's much difference between us.
Okay, so let's go for a rapid free round.
Yes.
So, books or movies?
Well, it used to be books, then it's now movies. It's now movies.
So, courtroom or classroom?
Classroom.
Strict or soft, sir?
Strict.
Okay. Research or advocacy?
Research.
Very well. Early morning or late nights?
Late night.
Very well. Sir, what is that one legacy that you would like to leave in ABU Zaria when you are no longer here? So what is that one thing you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered as someone who served Faculty of Law and Ahmadu Bello University Zaria with all he had, because ABU has given me everything. And the more reason why I'm still stuck here, I'm not, in Abuja practicing law, is the fact that I have always known that somebody had to do this, and God has chosen me to do it, and I'll do it well to the best of my ability until I can no longer do it. Then that will be the legacy. I'll be remembered.
Very much right. It is, and I will keep on remembering for that. So, finally, what message do you have for young Nigerians watching us today?
Yes, my message, like I always say, is you see, it worries me that young Nigerians now do not have the proper role models. They don't even know how to identify role models. Role modeling has become something of materialism. Most young people just see people in flashy cars and they automatically become their role models. See them with beautiful houses. They see them actually holding very expensive phones. They become automatically their role models, because the young people have now been so desensitized that they think the only way they can make it in life is by acquiring material things. And through that journey, they do everything, lawful, unlawful, criminal, illegal, whatever they want to do to just acquire, and they do that. Now, you can't build a society with that kind of mindset. Young people should focus more on service. Like I've always told students, and especially those in leadership position, I've always told them, focus on service. Whatever else you are looking for will come. Focus on service. Serve humanity. You just acquire the skills and then be on the trajectory and ensure that you work hard. You don't assume. If you are opportune, for instance, to be running a degree program, know that there is an excellence defined by that degree program, which is first class. Aim for it. If you find yourself working in an organization, you know that the peak of that career, there is a peak in that career. Aim for the peak of that career. But you should focus more on integrity, service, and all those things that you think people have acquired overnight, you acquire them eventually. And if God permits, you may even acquire them overnight. So, young people, my best advice to you is choose your role models carefully. Don't choose your role models on the basis of materialism. Choose your role models on the basis of service.
Thank you very much. So I'm sure they would appreciate this little piece of advice. And like I said earlier, his name is Dr. Umar Sani Bebeji from the Faculty of Law, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. We want to thank you sincerely for your wisdom, your insights and experience with us. Your words will undoubtedly inspire students across Nigeria and even beyond, we hope. And to our viewers, this has been another powerful conversation on Voice of Education, where insights and ideas shape minds and voice inspire change. Thank you for watching. Stay informed and stay inspired.